안녕하세요 여러분. For this exercise, we're just going to try something called the cube. To make an outline, we're going to start with Sketchup, and then Enscape, and then Layout. So this is to show an example of our workflow using just one software, which is Sketchup, and some add-ons, which is Enscape as the renderer, and Layout for 2D documentation. For this project, I'm going to call it the cube. Why the cube? So that will be a bit faster for demonstration purposes. Now this template already has scenes, as you can see on top: 3D, render, site development plan, first floor, which already cuts a section, second floor, third, fourth, the building for elevations, which is colored by layer, cross-section, longitudinal, doors and windows, and the rest of the engineering blueprint. So I'm going to go to 3D because we're going to start modeling. However, before we design, let's try to make a simple floor plan. Out of scale, I'm just going to draw boxes and squares, assuming this is the carport. Let's say there's a kitchen and a bathroom, also a service entry, so this will be the path or the alley. Let's say the kitchen is connected to the dining, which is also linked to the living room. And let's say behind the dining there's a sort of guest bathroom and a guest room. Now to make it a cube, let's just make it somewhat like this and add more stuff we can figure out later on. In this case, I'm going to select all of the interior floors and group it, pressing G. Now that I have separated the site from the building, let's say without our setbacks shown, I can start to model this into some exterior walls, or for demonstration purposes, sort of shell. So what I do is I made a copy, selected everything, right click and use the delete coplanar edges tool. In this case, all our lines interior disappears, and I can just make the exterior wall somewhat separated from the floor plan. Let's do the same for the second floor. For the second floor, I'm going to use the first floor and try to see where I can place bedrooms. So below, this is our living room, our kitchen, our dining, or wait, I forgot. Kitchen, dining, okay, everything is not to proportion, but let's say this is the kitchen, bathroom, dining, bathroom. Alright, so the first thing I will do is to utilize the central bathroom to be aligned with the bottom. So I'll make this a bedroom. Let's say this is the master's and another bedroom. Kinda confusing though. If this was the bathroom, let's say the master's is on top, master's bathroom, master bedroom. Okay, assuming that the common bedrooms are smaller, let's make 2 common bedrooms with a common bathroom. Okay, or we could actually go this way, so we have access to a balcony. Okay, let's just pretend we figured it all out before. And as for this was where the kitchen was, but we forgot our staircase. Say for example, we had a staircase here, so I'm going to use a shortcut called Alt V, so that when I go to the right, it just extends the line. But of course you can always use the rectangle. That Alt V is part of this tool called Extrude Lines, or the Adebeo push line in your volume 2. Since I made a staircase here, what I could do is try to align it in the first floor so that our plan is reflective. Somewhat like this. Now I'm seeing that there's no big axis there, so let's try to move this to the right by 1 meter. And do the same for the other side. Alright, now that we're done with the second floor, let's try to make the exterior walls as well. In this case, this is not a room, so I delete that. Oh no, I'm sorry. This was supposed to be the bathroom here, right? So... oh yeah, it's correct. This is the master's bathroom. But now we have no access because of our impromptu staircase. Let's just say, for example, that the master's bathroom is very, very wide. So it's above the kitchen, so let's make that a family area. Let's say, for example, that the walls are not exactly aligned above. So this can be like the walk-in closet and master's bathroom. Alright? Okay. In that case, I make the exterior walls. I explode it using Shift E. Right click and delete coplanar edges. Now that just becomes a box. I'll undo it and figure out my exterior balcony is not part of the wall. Delete. And I also see that my bedroom here is too small, so I can just align it to the middle where it turns blue. Okay. Time to delete coplanar edges. Make my exterior wall and push to the same height. G. Of course, this is just one method if you want to separate your walls. Say for example you have no time to model the interior. You could just use the exterior wall for the exterior perspective, right? Let's group our site development. Make this our second floor and put that on top. Now, what we could do is put everything on top and align. So let's say this is unconventional. I won't be modeling the posts or columns for this time. Now say for example, I want to show the slab because this is the finished floor line. So what I do is I'll go up. Now I want to get this floor, right? But since there are lines inside, it will be hard to push-pull without messing up. So I could just get the floor from the exterior wall. Okay, copy that. I paste it outside in place, or using File, Edit, Paste in place. Then make it bigger. Select the whole thing. Press G to group so I could see what I am working on. Just press enter to go inside. Let's say for example the whole thing is a slab, so I don't need those interior lines. I could just make it a slab. Okay. As for our balcony, let's include that as well as part of our slab. There we go. Just for organization's sake. And can do the same thing down here. I could actually select the whole bottom here. Copy. Paste. Couldn't see it, so press G, enter. Delete again, and do the same thing. So that will be our slab unfill and our suspended slab. Now, of course, I need to make everything a little higher except the site. So I'll just press Shift to hold the axis. Okay. We call this the cube, but there are still some ingress and egress. Now from here, since actually I am not finalized with the floor plan, right? I would like to make some exterior shape, or what we call the building massing or envelope. Since I want this to have a style, I'll just extend the master bedroom forward, let's say 1 meter, to have a shape. And in that case I have to adjust this as well. Shift V and push. Right? Now we have a sort of, just a little design. For here, maybe I just like a ledge, so I'll just model it outside because I don't want to make it part of the interiors. So if ever there are changes like the sizes, you can just easily change them later on. Okay. Say for example, it extends there. I don't have to keep going inside the group and modifying. And let's say this also has a sort of design here. Maybe a kind of brickwork or stonework. But it seems to cut, so I could add another ledge here without overlapping. However, logically I know that the ledges come first before the brickwork, so I adjust my stone or brickwork downward. I'm not too worried yet about the colors that can come later if we still have time, because usually paint is like one of the last finishing. Alright, so because it's kinda unproportioned, let's just draw a kind of site development outside here to show the setbacks. Okay, that's okay. Now what we could do, let's say that there's no roof deck and we'll just need a flat roof like this, and we'll just indicate the slope later on in the construction documentation. In this case I want it to be aligned like this. I could delete that as well. So the balcony faces here. But because I'm looking into the perspective for now, maybe I could also adjust the master bedroom a bit inside. Okay, so I copy that line, paste it here. But the thing is, if I push inward, it's going to cut that, so I'm going to copy this line inside. As example, I move 1 meter to the left. What I could do here is move my wall a bit and move 1 meter to the left without much revision. Something like that. And I'll not worry about the slab for now, but since I want to get the interior area later on, I'll actually adjust this and turn this into the ledge. We can see that our slab is coinciding with our floor plan, but it's okay, so I know that there's something there. If you want to reverse faces, just select everything and right click reverse face. Okay, I guess this will be it for now. Kinda bare. Let's try to extend this. Say the whole thing is a roof. And maybe put some style to the roof. Somewhat like this. I'll just say it's not bagay. Okay. That doesn't look like a cube at all, so we actually did not stick to our party or motive, so let's go back and say that okay, let's just make it like this and do the additional decors later on. Say something like this. G to group, and there. Now for example, I want them to be symmetrical. What I do is Shift G, which makes it a component, so that when I go here and I want to edit, I edit both. Since that I see it's on the red axis, what I could do is right click and flip along the red axis. So the next time I try to edit this, they are symmetrical. Alright. In that case, I'll just align it there. Use the scale tool to adjust the size. Okay. Okay, so that's it for now. Before we go to the openings, I will show you how to layer. So let's say we know our organization, that this is the wall, the whatever, or the cladding, and then the slab. So if I were to hide this using H, let's show first. The first thing we modeled is the floor plan. So I'll put that under number 1 for the first floor, and let's say everything down here is number 1. Now in that case, if these are all number 1s, then we could not actually separate them in our organization on the left. Look at the building, because our outline actually shows that our tags are architectural, electrical, plumbing, structural, and these belong to walls, while these ledges I place in whatever, because whatever's outside the groups. And openings will be our doors and windows. Our floor will be the 2D plan. But since they're all in number 1, even if we disable floor plan, it won't go off. What would go off, however, is if we disable number 1. Alright? So you could put everything to number 1 and arrange this later on, or you could arrange it as early as now. Say walls, and these will be whatever, including this, whatever. In our tutorials, they're actually called cladding or even facade, and we'll call this the floor. So in that case, if we turn off floor, just goes like that. We could actually also put slab under structural if we want to separate the floor plan from the slab. S slab. So because it's alphabetically arranged, no problem. I press Alt H to unhide everything and do the same thing with the second floor. So this one, I'll call it slab as well, let's say like the roof slab. So it'll be the walls, the whatever, and the floor. So it'll be slab again. For the roof, you could put it as roof slab or just roof. Now if we turn off all walls, it's gonna look like this. And if we turn off all the whatevers, we can see our levels. Alright? So that's the purpose of that. However, I also want to arrange them by number or floor level. So what I do is I select from right to left, or you can do it one by one. Since these all have their own tags, nothing is shown in the tags up here. Alright? So what I do is press G to group and put them under number 1, or I just press number 1. Now they're under layer 1. Next thing will be ones up here, except for this roof slab, which I will put under number 3 later on. So group, 2, and this will be, since this is already a group, what I could do is I'll just put something above, select both to make an outer group, and call it 3. Okay. Or you could actually go to the exploded areas and make that a layer or a tag, but I avoid doing that because sometimes we edit and put stuff inside. Okay, now for this, the cube that doesn't really look like a cube and the rear is kinda ugly, I'll make some minor adjustments only, okay? Okay. Put it under whatever. Using X-ray mode could easily lock. Now what's next for us? What's next is making some openings. So let's go to scene number 1. And this scene automatically, if you see, just leaves the group 1 behind. So for the site, let's put it under location site, so we can only see the first floor. Alright? Shift Z to zoom to extents, Shift 3 to update, or go to the scene, right click update. However, we have to turn on our section cuts, so enable the section cut according to your volume 2, and you could adjust the section plane. Okay, in this case I'm going to start to make some holes or openings. Let's say I don't want to keep doing this, you know, so I'll just make a cube and make it into a group. Copy this cube to use for later, and then let's say I want it to be like this. Select both, and let's say if Shift I works. Nope. Cut the cube, go towards where only the wall can be selected as a single group, because I cannot punch a hole outside when there are many groups, okay? So just outside the solid group, select both and right click, subtract, solid tools, where are you? Did I do something wrong? Oh yeah, because this has a floor, okay? I'll delete this floor so that becomes a solid tool with a volume, okay? Click, click, Shift I to subtract, okay? So if you don't know what happened, I clicked on the thing to be subtracted and the wall. Right click, outer shell, right click, solid tools and subtract, in which my shortcut was Shift I. Okay, but since I copied that cube a while ago, I could just paste in place again and do it to the other rooms. In this method, I don't have to worry about adjusting the height because I'm always in the same level or altitude. I know that this part is the kitchen, and for the bathroom I'll just make it a bit smaller. Somewhat like this. Okay, so click, click, Shift I, click, click, do the same. And I know that this is the, let's say for example you're using the conventional method, no problem. Select that and use the X-ray to see that you are not selecting unnecessary lines. And what you could do is just copy paste by moving and holding Control. But in this case, because it was just copied, you have to trace over the line to let it know that there's a surface there. Okay? Now to push, pull, just align it with the outer wall and it will become a hole. But let's try my method again, which is the cube thing. Cube thing, and just use your arrows. Click, click, Shift I. However, did we allocate an area here? I think this area should be something like a lanai. So let's put down the walls a bit. Since our exterior walls are separated from the interior, there's no need to worry. So whatever changes I make here, it will not destroy the interior walls if ever I have them. Okay, let's say somewhat like this until here. Put the exterior wall until here. And let's just push it down. Okay. There. Now we can add maybe a bigger door. So this is the group. I just go from here until here. But I still want the top to be aligned, so I just align it with the openings using a scale tool or move tool, whichever suits you better. And I also do the subtracting thing we did a while ago. Shift I. Okay. Slab. Okay. I actually forgot to put the floor into the first group, so I cut it, unhide, and paste in place. Now for the shortcuts that are going a bit fast, I recommend that you buy our volume 1 and 2 to have some more demonstrations. Now that we have openings, let's check our first floor and turn on our section cut. The fill is on and I could just update it. Save as new style, okay. So that's how to go for exterior walls, and let's do the same thing for level number 2, which our section plane should be a bit higher to where the section cut would be. So if we see number 1, our section cut is actually not showing the bathroom window, so I just put it a little higher to show that there's a bathroom window there to be indicated in the floor plan. Alright? Now notice what happened because my exterior walls went inward here. The staircase actually is eaten. Okay? So I'll make an adjustment there just by selecting that and moving to the left. And there's no problem. Floor number 2, time to put some openings. Now this time I want to see the first floor, so I turn on number 1 on my tags. Now that I can see both first and second floor, I could choose whether to align my windows or make them asymmetrical, depending on what you want. So you could actually just put 3 enter to have the same distance, but I'll just copy this. And let's say I want to push pull it for later again. So I'm not yet punching a hole since I'm still planning for what final decision to make. This is a bedroom, okay, so it's okay to have a window there, and I want to align it here as well to the other bedroom window so that when we put our dimensions in the floor plan, it's just one line. And it's also easier for the builder to understand. I could actually align this window as well and my bathroom is not actually aligned exactly to the bathroom upstairs. However, I think our wall here can be so that the piping upstairs will be somewhere here in the service area. In that case, I could just copy the small window and also move upward and align it here. Now you don't see me using this in the other videos because I'm just experimenting on this right now, and it still works though, so whatever suits my workflow, which keeps on changing. However, if you have a specific workflow that you want to follow to be constant or consistent, and that's better. A systematic workflow will be good for the basics. However, since I can easily adapt to different workflows, it depends on the situation. For modeling or for perspective, okay? That's why I'm not so accurate right now, because I'm not really making this for permit, but for demonstration purposes. Let's say we forgot a big window here, but I want it to be aligned down here. So what I could do, I could actually move this so that I could use this as a basis for alignment upstairs. So I could move up, make a copy. Notice I'm still inside the first group, but I'm already adjusting so that it won't stick to the second floor yet. Now I cut this and I paste this in place. Okay, put a line, and for sure they're aligned. Front view, there. Okay. Alright, so go back to 3D and let's see. Now whenever we go back to 3D, it goes to this camera view, so I want to Shift Z and make this my default 3D view. Update, okay? We still have these window openings, so let's go inside and use our Shift subtracting, okay? Have to remove this. Now I'm curious if I could use 2 to subtract at once. Doesn't work, so it has to be 1 at a time. No problem. It's kind of fun though, it feels like you're also drawing a bit. And maybe 1 more window here. Since I want to have an easier window schedule in my layout documents later on, I'm just going to use the same size of window here. Okay, for this case, let's try to do the traditional method, which is push and pull. Okay, now our second floor looks like this. We have our openings and our exterior wall. Next thing we will do to make the, let's say if we have no time to make interiors, we can actually put doors and windows. Now you can use our templates or you can do it yourself. So example for this case, if I do it myself, I could just use the framing tools such as this for perspective purposes. This is how I used to model windows before. Just the exterior and doing that. However, if you have the 1001 bit tool, you could just use the panel divider, put the frame dimensions and the number of columns. There, that's it. Because our glass is already grouped as one, so we could just put the glass material to have the transparency. In this case, I'm gonna move back a bit and turn this into a component by pressing Shift G and W1 for window 1. Did I just piyok there? I'm not sure. Shift Z, Shift G. Alright. In this case, I'll have this as maybe a half type awning, or let's say this is a casement window. So you can use the same panel thing or the other tool. Shift G and W2. Okay. Move back a bit, use the arrow to align. And you could use that as the reference. Copy, paste, copy, paste. Select both, move inside, use the arrow to reference, and copy paste downstairs. Alignment looks good, even if we didn't really spend much time planning this. Okay, so let's say that this will be kind of sliding door. We have sliding door options here. Let's see if they work well. Let's say only for this case I'm looking actually for the number of columns instead of the height. Okay, this is a bit different, so I want to use the panel divider again, just because I'm lazy like that. Okay, in this case I'll put it a bit near the outside so that in case the sliding door might go out a bit. Okay, I'm looking at this. What if I hide this whatever thing? Nah, it looks too skinny. Okay, or what if I transfer this to the other side to have a kind of symmetry? Maybe this looks better, so that our service area is hidden a bit. But let's say carport, yeah, okay. See, we actually forgot that this is the carport. In that case, let's delete this and make the car a bit bigger. Carport. And let's say we have a rich lot. So don't follow this in real life, because you need to start with the lot first. That will be the boundary and the parameters to which you will design and plan in. Say for example, we just want to emphasize the carport. Now many designs actually have like a terrace here above, but we didn't plan our family room that way, so let's just make this into like a slab. Okay, something like that, and let's say this is half open only, and maybe just enough for the gate. I want it a bit lower because it's not that grand. Now the problem of scaling everything, look how it becomes thinner. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just scale the walls that are the same height and Shift D to drop it down. Alright, now it looks a bit ugly again. Actually, we're just supposed to be fast to show layout, but kinda OC and still not doing well, so feels bad, man. Feels bad. Anyways, in this case, window is not even proportioned to this thing, so what I could do is, let's say I want it symmetrical. I measure the distance there with a line and make that my reference point for this thing. Okay, so actually it like frames the window, and if I want to adjust it, I can just move it because it's already a component. Okay, okay, extend the roof a bit, just a bit. Wow, that's a bit. Okay, and let's say that actually it doesn't look proportioned because we didn't measure stuff. Look at the window, it's very high from the carport. So let's say we did something right a while ago and put this back here and extend this, always changing your mind. Why? I think the video is already 30 minutes. Or is it an hour? It's just supposed to be 10 minutes. Anyways, let's say that we want some kind of strength looking support thing, okay? Put the gate here. Make the gate small. Group that and make like a poste for the gate, okay? Let's say there's no access. I actually want to have an access there, so I could just put an offset and voila, I mean meron. Alright, let's say this gate is also panel divided into 3, like a trifold gate, but instead of using glass, let's use something like a brick thing. Okay, that's it, and we're almost done. Now I think I'll just trace a line over the site dev. Let's say this line for the perimeter fence. Let's get the outer edges and delete the selection from the inner one. Copy, paste the path, so we have this path. Extend the path here, and let's make a profile which is something like this, and put a little baseboard. Okay, select everything, it selects the whole path. If I'll group it and enter, you can see that if I triple click, it selects the whole path. So I deselect this, press my follow me tool, which in my case is letter Y, and click on that profile. Now I have a perimeter fence, which you could also put some railings on top, but in this case let's make it a bit lower. Okay, there we go. And then just to show the building, we will not put it so high, but to add some deviation, let's make a kind of design like this. Okay, and maybe some angle thing. There we go again. It's just supposed to be fast. Now what we can do is see our layers. Because these aren't layered properly and they're in untagged, we have to put them in their correct layers. So for our openings, we put them in A openings. Now what I could do is to cut and paste them inside the second group, okay, or the second floor. Or what you could also do, let's say for example they were already outside, you can just group them and press number 2, since they are components that are already in A openings. And in this case, that's what I will do, just because. Okay, for this I will put this under a slab or S roof. Let's say this is a roof, okay? I could also put that under number 2. So what I could do is I go inside the group, make it a group again, so this will be the S roof, and outside it will be number 2, okay? So I'll put it as number 2 first because my S roof is invisible, and put it into S roof, structural roof, okay? Next, I'll turn off layer number 1 to see the things I missed. So I put these under opening, group, and number 1. Now the rest, I could put them all under the location group, or make it a new group and call it location. However, in this case, I will still want them to be known either as walls, so A walls, okay, G location site. This one I have no group called A gate, right? So I'll just put it under walls first, and turn on that location thing in my Building location, okay. Location site. I want this to be part of the location site. Let's say it's part of Siteworks, but still falls under walls. Okay. So in this case, we have a model guide, the first floor with its openings, the second floor with its openings. See, I didn't finish everything yet. The third floor, actually, I'll make this the roof, so that's 3R. I have to look for my S roof or my S slab in this case. S slab. What layer did I put it in? And that's why it's not showing. If I don't know which layer I placed it in, I go back to the 3D and click it, and it says 3R, which was supposed to show. However, if I went inside, it actually says S slab, so S slab and 3R are supposed to show in order for number 3 to show. S slab is enabled, 3R is enabled, so now I'm wondering, where did that slab go? Okay. Turn on 2, 3R, S slab, and switch is correct. Okay. So, top view, Shift Z, and update that camera view. So the next time I'm looking for that, it's just there. Alright? However, because everything has a different extent, they're not all aligned when I'm shifting scenes. So what I could do is I could make a base scene, call the site development plan, Shift Z, and this will be my whole lot camera. In this case, I'm going to turn on the camera location, which is correct on the left, and update the scene. Now I want my first floor to be exactly the same size as the SDP. So what I do is I turn off the camera location first, update, go back to SDP, go back to first floor, and this time, since camera location is not on, it follows the camera location of the SDP. I want that, and thus I turn on the camera now, and then I update the scene. Now, I never learned this in SketchUp, it was not in a tutorial. It was by trial and error, but you can have this information for free. Just, you know, so that you won't be annoyed by the settings. I know that my first scene has the same camera location as the SDP, so I go to scene number 2 and turn the camera location on, update by using Shift 3, do the same thing to the roof, okay? Now let's say that the roof is, maybe if it's a slab, okay, but if you want to add some metal sheet roofing on top of the slab, then that's not a problem as well. Color gray, okay? The next thing after we have our plans is to go to the building. Now for the building, we could see the shell, and we could also see, you know, the layering system. Turn off walls. It's not turning off, that means there might be something wrong with our layers. There, this should have been walls. It's walls, so I don't know if it got exploded. Whatever. And see, this one just says 2, and inside it says roof. In this case, I think I want this to be called roof as well, so that whenever we want to turn off all roofs, we just turn off roof. Okay, let's make this part of that. Just delete. Next, openings, correct. Floors, correct. And the ones that are left are slabs. Okay, so when we go to building, it's in orthographic mode. for our front view, so just save that camera. For a section cut, just adjust it to where the stairs might be. So there. And for the letter Y, which is longitudinal, look for that staircase again. And save the camera view. Okay, doors and windows, automatically just the openings without the slab. For easier estimates, structural actually will be our slab, staircase, and even posts, but we didn't model our columns and beams, so never mind that. Anyway, since our workflow will be first the render, let's say we're not yet working on the blueprint, we're going to turn on Enscape and just render a perspective of this building. I could set the view right now, my camera view, or I could do it in Enscape as well. So a 2-point perspective will have lines. In preparation for render, I'll prepare the foreground, which is just the road. Okay, and maybe in front of the road some grass, and behind and beside more grass. I don't like the grass to go beneath the building because we already excavated that and the backhoe was expensive. Let's say it's a bit a mountainous area, so we want it not too flat. Can just put a small hill above, maybe until here and here. Now that looks too fake still. Using a tool called Bezier Spline, right click, Bezier toolbar. I could draw, or you could also use your freehand. So to use freehand, go to draw, lines, where's that? Draw, lines, freehand. And you can just draw freehand like this. Okay? But if you want to use something more sexy, you could use the Bezier spline, go from end to end, and just create points along the way. Okay? So that's what we'll try to do right now. From here to here, just put some points to say that this is the slope. And then push pull, or just push. G to make it a group so I could see it better, and copy the same thing here. Okay, now nature is not really like this perfect with the exact same slope. Oftentimes there's a topography to follow. Now another way to do that is just to use your sandbox tool. So let's say, for example, we want to put some contours here, but we are not in Lumion or Twinmotion, so we have to do it in SketchUp. Right click and open your sandbox tool. Now you can have the option like to subdivide this so that you could push pull, but I think that is actually straight. Yeah, it's a new drawing. So what sandbox does is you make a new grid, and that's where you groove or push pull stuff. Like here, you push pull stuff upward. Okay, but since we didn't make that here, actually what I can do, maybe I could get like the plane below just to add some subdivisions. So for example, this is where the building is, right? So I delete that. Maybe I want to subdivide this into, if not triangles, maybe squares. Okay, so I just click on that, make a copy, and say maybe like 50 divide. That makes 50 subdivisions. It's a bit too small, it might lag, so try 20 divide. That's better. Do the same thing here, maybe 15 divide. I don't want it to lag that much, so 10 divide. Okay, and then I could delete this thing here, so I could go this way, but the things below are selected, so I deselect them in our lesson 1. press N to delete. And now I have this. I could just stamp it downward using the stamp tool, which is, I think, this one. Stamp. No, what happened? Actually, what I want to do is just stamp this thing here. So I'll try to group this first and see if it works. It says select the match which you want to stamp. Okay. 100%. Now it's stamped. However, it stamped it all the way, so that's why it took a bit more time. Be careful because the more meshes you have, the heavier it might be. Now we can use the groove tool. Smooth, should I say. Yeah, wow. Actually, it's my first time to try this again. Kinda risky. Oh, however, when I smoothed that, the road came along. So I guess you could adjust the radius on the lower right. It says 10 meters, I make it 5, enter. Make my smooth a bit smaller. How about 2 meters? That's weird. Okay, maybe 3. We're taking too much time here, but it's fun. I guess the 5 thing was okay, right? 5. So you could just click once and pull up, or you could drag. Same thing. So what this basically does is it just pulls up the lines, but because they are subdivided, it turns it into kind of a contour or curve. Alright, and there, good enough. Now let's just paint this thing grass, or select landscape and grass, okay? But I don't want to paint the road with the grass, so I could separate this by grouping G, okay? So it's separated. And all these lines made it a bit heavy. Let's say I don't want to revise this later. It might be final, so I go to right click and soften smooth edges. Alright. And in soften smooth edges, I could soften coplanar as well. And maximize the normals. In that case, it's a bit lighter. And I could just paint them green. But the problem here, because it's already smoothened, is that even the... Oh no, it's correct. I thought even the ones below were painted, which might lag. Oh yeah, I think that's good enough. Looks like a cartoon. Maybe it's not bagay. Because somebody commented, maybe it's not bagay. Let's say I got a bit too ambitious. I'm curious how this looks like blocking the west. Oh, okay. Now in this case, many people try to extend the walls upward and cut them based on the roof. The problem here, however, let's say you already cut this and put the diagonal, is that if you have revisions, you're gonna have a hard time. So what I do is I just select the upper wall and make it into another thing. Let's just say from the roof beam towards the roof will be something different. And then what I do to get that cut is just, actually you can go into this, make it a group, go inside the group, select everything and put intersect faces with model, so it intersects with the lines outside. Now you have the lines from the roof, and you could start deleting them using the front view and selecting from right to left, which was in lesson 1. Kinda tiring. It's actually faster if I just demonstrate and add the subtitles later. However, not much time and a bit lazy. Okay, alright. See that? Now in this case, you can even add like some grooves there, different paint. However, I'll just make it white because people spend too much time deleting things when in the render they can't even be seen. Alright? And maybe here I could just extend this. Let's say I have the same overhang as that. So what I do is I select this, and because of math, whatever I input the distance here until here will be the same thing on the left. In that case, I know that they're a bit symmetrical, and I think I want to push upwards, so cut and paste that thing. If it's correct, it should be in the same slope. Okay. Never mind. So there, it was not connected. Oh, there. Okay, so we have a very simple thing. Maybe we can have the same material as the gate here. Maybe it's not bagay again. Never mind, just make it a shell like that. And then it's illogical to have this without a retaining wall, so let's say that the back part was actually a retaining wall from here to somewhere there. Okay, so I put them upward, and how about this design? I guess it's okay. Now you have a sample model. Make the grass a bit low. Because we're preparing for render, let's just color the background and foreground first. Go to asphalt and color the road. No, here. Now this says concrete form shell. I want it to be dark and just adjust the color. And this would be grass. Now I see some glitching from the floor to the ground. So since this is excavated, I just put it lower or I delete that. Okay? No more glitching. In this case, I won't paint everything else that won't be seen, since my view would be something like this. I'd now put the car somewhere. So let's put an asset. Where's the tree? The tree icon is the Enscape Assets. Now in your volume 1 to 3, you have a VIP access after 3 volumes where you have this Enscape Assets. However, it already comes with Enscape when you download it. So if you could see, Enscape Assets are online and custom assets are offline. Say I want to work faster, so I just click custom assets. However, custom assets will not have an outline on the left like the online assets. So it's taking time to load, and I hope there's no bug splat. And now that it's loaded, I could just type in the word tree. So tree, and it shows a variety of trees. I'd say this tree, so you could just like drag and click. Maybe some shadows going towards the building. So I'll look at my shadows somewhere to the right, I guess. But I don't want all my trees to be the same. So I choose another tree, maybe this one, somewhere at the back, just to show that it's a forested area. Okay, you could do other things like a tree gate, you know, or some street lamp. Well, that's up to you, but remember, we haven't modeled this to scale, so they might actually look smaller than actual. Now let's say because we have a street lamp, then we should have a sidewalk. Many streets in the Philippines actually have street lamps that are obstructing the sidewalk, so better have it done properly. And let's also put a little driveway here. Now for our driveway, we just cut the sidewalk towards the road. Usually driveways are also sloping, but in this case let's do something like this. Let's make the driveway the same as the road and elevate the sidewalk just a little bit. So using our arc tool A, if you see that it's like blue, that means it's actually tangent to a circle. But if you see that it goes to magenta, it's tangent to edge. And once you click it, it actually should trim this in most cases. Say for example like this. It trims without me deleting it. Okay? Say the sidewalk is polished concrete. Just move upward and make a somewhat of an outline like this. Paint it a bit white. Okay. Same thing here. Deselect the other two edges and double click your arc. For the grass as well, let's put just one line to signify boundary and make the grass a bit lower. Okay, in this case our render will look something like this. It doesn't look like the house of Nobita, but in this case, can I push pull? Yes, okay. Maybe just add a little groove below the roof. So using your offset tool again, make the gutter, let's say, a bit higher, or if you want, lower. In my case, I would like a simple profile, just like that. Okay, and then maybe like a thing here that says that the style is somewhat off verticals, so that our lines are repetitive. Okay, and that makes the character somewhat like that. In this case, I'll just put a small ledge so that we have a breaker for this. However, you saw I started from here and I wanted to go to here, but that's diagonal, right? So I use my arrow keys to stick on the green axis and then align, push back to the wall and push forward for the ledge. Click and put that in a whatever, which is cut inside group number 2. Right? Maybe also here as well. Oop. Okay. Since this window will be seen in our scene, okay, we can make this like an awning window, so use the same panel thing. Dude, I should have been using a real project for an example, because if I spent this much effort in just demonstration, I could have used it for a project. Anyways, click on this and maybe put a frame here. Use the default material, maybe make it into a thickness. Okay, default material is not painting, so let's try a metal, M. Use this metal seamed, select everything, okay. And make this into an awning window, just like 10 degrees forward. There, and let's use the same material for all our windows. Let's make that the component W4, I guess. For W3, just paint everything metal, as well as this one. Okay. Now in this case, let's turn on Enscape by clicking on the Enscape above, which is here, and switch to Enscape. So I'll turn off the shadows here so it will be faster to load. Save the model so that in case of brownout, turn on Enscape and it looks something like this. Now in our Enscape 3.0, which already has its own tutorial, I will choose to detach the SketchUp viewport or the camera, so I could just edit in Enscape here alone. But if I wish to use the same camera I had in SketchUp, I will enable my camera sync. So I could use SketchUp to actually set the camera and my scene in the same view. 2-point perspective, no, maybe it's just something like this. Change my field of view in SketchUp itself instead of Enscape. Okay. In this case, I guess the best view will be a normal view. Now see that when I move backward, I have no more foreground left, so I want to extend my grass. Go back to render and make this the view. Let's say I'm from the neighbor's house and the balcony, so it's a bit high. Update. Since we have no materials in the house, it's just white, I guess I could just put a little color on towards the wall. Okay? So for the wall, this whole fence, do it this way, right? And my sidewalk was too high, so put them a bit lower just by selecting the whole top line here. Why didn't I use push-pull? Because of multiple lines. I don't want to spend too much time there. So I want this a bit brighter white. Okay. Edit and white. Back to render. Now the next thing I want to change are my shadows, and I want them to be the same as in SketchUp. So I just move the shadows in SketchUp itself. Update. However, if I change my mind, I could also change the sun location in Enscape itself. So let's go to Enscape Sky, input my HDRI, and that's where I will try to see if it's a lot better than the natural default sky. My favorite is this sunrise thing to show some emotion. Okay, so I'm going to use like the rotation tool, and please don't be bug splat, please. Now that I have my HDRI skybox, I could use the rotation tool to see which kind of sky I like better. Okay, but since it's too bright, I could put it a bit lower to show the sunrise itself. That's an overcast mode. Oh, this one has the leaves against the building, which is kinda cool. Now many people, they actually just stop there, but I want my scene like to be a bit creative. That means like to tell a story instead of just the view. So like, oh, this is how it looks like when it's almost nighttime or when you just woke up. Okay, and then maybe I could increase the whites. So it's a bit dull. I want the story to be like you just came home from school and you were a bit late, so the sun's starting to set, and you met the bullies along the way, so you try to run away. So it shouldn't be this bright. This bright could actually be for marketing. That's what they call maaliwalas, but I want something like maali sunless. Huh? Okay, there. Nope. Wait, what if we have more emphasis on the sky instead of the building? Like you have a good view, so even if the building is simple, you still enjoy the nature of life. I guess I meant that one, okay? I guess that would be there. And atmosphere will just increase the sun brightness. There, okay. And for the image, let's put down the temperature to cool instead of warm. This is warm, this is cool, okay? Shadows a bit darker, highlights a bit brighter. Outlines for the cartoon render, and none. Okay, so let's just make it a bit cartoonish. Depth of field, turn off the background. Let's say manual depth of field. Turn off autofocus and focus on the building. Okay, and then put the blurriness a bit lower. Now, because you already have your modeling done, ready for layout actually, and we have our rendering very simple, what we could do now is like just adjust some materials. So like for example, this material, let's say I'll make SketchUp a bit smaller so that we could see what's happening even without a dual monitor, okay? I'll close that tab for a while, and we have our materials editor on. What we could actually do is go to Enscape, material editor. So if this is Enscape, press the checkered thing there. Notice how the windows are already glass because our SketchUp material says glass, and our grass is already grass because the SketchUp material says grass. But if you want to take it further, what you could do is go like this. For example, select, so press B for the paint bucket, Alt select the material, okay, and turn on the albedo. So to see what's happening, it's actually this one. If I turn on albedo, it makes the bump a little bit stronger, but since my lines are too low, I can make my bricks bigger, or 2, let's say 1, because it's based on the texture of the photo, which is this one. Okay, and you can make the albedo actually deeper or higher, right? Let's make it a bit glossy. So in real life, many things have reflection, so let's just put a little reflection to all the materials, such as, let's say, the sidewalk. Use albedo, okay. Road is albedo, okay. Road a bit slippery, okay. Lessen the roughness, and just keep on doing that. So I'll try to do that even without looking at Enscape, just editing the materials inside SketchUp itself. Let's say for example for glass, I want specular to be high so I could see my sunset. And let's finally try to put a material on this accent thing. Let's say flat paint instead of brick. Just put that for texture, make it very small, maybe Yep. And instead of going to Enscape to make it shiny, I'll just call it like ceramic, even though this is not a tile. As for my metal seamed, it's already called metal, so no problem. This one I want this to be shiny as well, and to have an albedo, so I open the materials in Enscape and use albedo, make it a bit shiny. And I guess that's it. Let's go back to our Enscape. Since our SketchUp is linked, I'll go back to my camera view. And there, because it's shiny, it reflected the sun much. In that case, I would like to adjust the sky a bit, because I don't want that kind of glare. Overcast is actually a bit good. Okay, and just a car would do. So let me click on the asset library and look for a car. So since this building is like an unfinished contemporary, let's put a car that suits this. Maybe just an SUV would do, if not a sedan. Actually, a sedan would look nice if this was kinda horizontal and low, but since this is a bit high and we have a hired roof for the carport, let's choose an SUV, okay? SUV, Sport Utility Vehicle, which is not in the components, so let's just put car and look at the photo there. Car number 4 is an SUV. Let's say that the story is that there are 2 cars. The SUV is the owner of the house. So what happened is he was about to go home. So if you're going home, you should be at the right side of the road. And I just noticed right now that this road is just 1 lane. So we have to adjust the road to make it 2 lanes. Unless this is an esquinita or a small alley. Alright, so using top view, let's say that this car is passing by the house near the street lamp, waiting for his friend to come out. Well, his friend just arrived and he was about to park. However, when he was about to park, he noticed the gate was closed, so he was left that way. Okay? So the cars are facing towards the building, which means our focal point will be the building. The SUV could not be seen much, so put him forward, and actually the friend covers the bad part of the grass. So you can add more shrubs there, but this would be fine for now. In this case, I actually want to emphasize the friend waiting, so I put him against the contrast of the light bricks with the dark car. Now because of this proportion, I just realized that our fence in front is too high, and we can make that a bit shorter. So let's put the fire or the retaining wall lower, maybe something like this. Let's just use the push-pull thing, okay? Align it there, and say for now that's flat. But if this is flat, then we won't have the same character that we wanted a while ago, which is supposed to be like the diagonal thing. So what I can do is I'll cut a hole here so that this won't be affected. Double click this one and actually move it. Okay, I will move it, let's say the same distance as this, using the move tool. Up. It seems like, okay, here. It seems like this could actually be utilized. So let's do it. Let's make this into a railing instead. Okay, So to make a railing there, I could use another tool called the joist, which is in the 1001 bit. Rafter, create grills, divide. This one, joist, okay. Say my joist will be like C-channel, facing inward, okay. Create joist, the spacing will be like 6 inches. And then put the direction as horizontal and wait for the calculation. Hopefully it doesn't lag, and it does not. And let's make this into the railing. But for example, let's say that it's just hidden there and it's a bit thinner, so I just make it scale there, which won't really be noticed in the render. However, I also want some vertical post, so I use that same thing again, which is here. Let's use the same size, however our spacing will be like 1.2 meters. And vertical. Oh no. Wait, this looks like a good design. I'll leave that there. Make it into a component and say good design. So that was actually by mistake, but let's just say that this was part of the lot line. Okay, let's do the thing again. So from here to here, what I do is get the joist thing and do it vertically from the edge. Pick the direction. Okay, so that's 1.2. I'll delete the bases and put them inside. Right, and then I don't need this. Oh, I mean I don't need the last one. Say for example it was exactly here, and I will move inward. So I could just specify and it estimates the exact size as long as it's almost identical in the render. Okay, in that case we'll have it colored metal seamed, same as the windows, as well as the gate. Okay, now you see that. Let's say that EPs might go inside. Go back to render. And let's add a little bit of lighting, okay? In this case, I want to add some exterior lights, just to show that I made some effort. So what will this actually light up? I'm not sure, but let's say that this will be like an accent light for the exterior. So what I do is just select something like a color that I could light up to be emissive. So let's just say a different color like orange, but I'll turn it into white so that I could actually use the real color white for other things. Okay, call it emissive, M-I-S-S, so that it will actually like emit light or glow. So go to material and look for self-illumination, which is activated from emissive. Color will be white and the strength will be strong. Okay, in this case I have to make this into a component because I would like to use this lamp many times. There, not bad, eh? Let's try to make it a kind of spandrel. I think I'm enjoying too much. We need to put a limit to this video. Okay, we need to end soon because we did not even show layout. Okay, so the spandrel actually has to go the other way when doing this, so I could intersect faces again with model and change this texture rotation. Okay, so must go 90 degrees. Enter. I will select that. No, I will just copy that because it did not actually close. Okay, paste it up here, select the texture, and now it's correct. Okay, so this texture will be different. This texture needs to be a bit bigger. So let's say it's not exact, but it's just alright. Okay, so that in our render it goes this way and that way. And since it will be actually hard to put the light on the joint, people say that we really thought of it, which we did just now. Now this won't be seen in the render, but we'll see things. Also, too much texture may cause some lag. Okay, there, so one more down here, but this is actually angled. And yep, just choose the point, go up here, and go down there. And this angled thing, we'll just disangle it. Okay. One more, maybe here. So back to our render, we could actually see just a little bit, but if it emits light, where's the light? We just see the lamp. Okay, so what we could actually do is put some light bulbs, I mean light emission. So just go to plus sign, and if you don't want the spotlight, you could choose the sphere light if you want to work fast. As for the strength of the lights, you can just go here to luminance and the radius. Okay, so let's say this is where that was. Maybe there, just maybe. You can actually put it inside the component as well if you want them to be exactly where the bulb was. However, it might look different in the perspective in Enscape later on. So what I'm trying to eliminate now are just the outer walls, not exactly the windows. Okay, and then when you click on plus, you could have it stronger. So there's a kind of illumination, even if it's faint, as long as it actually lit up. Okay, so there was a bit of glare there. Put it a bit further, and in this case go back to our camera, and in Enscape you could actually adjust the artificial light in atmosphere. Okay, now next thing to do is just click on render or Ctrl R. In this case you could choose the type of screenshot. I choose JPEG so that I could put it in Photoshop if I feel like it later on. Desktop, oh no, it's my face. Okay, save. Let's see how many seconds it takes to render. Exporting image, ready, go. Why it's taking long? I guess because the laptop has been on for so long. Okay, I found out the reason why, so we could actually cancel this. The reason why it took long is because the resolution was very big, so I have to adjust that. To adjust that, just go back to the visual settings, output, and let's just choose, look at my size, it's 8K. Let's just choose full HD for now. Control R and start to export again. Desktop, that's correct. Save. So we see the SUV coming home, we see the friend waiting for him by the house, and we have a contrast of the light and the dark areas. Also, our lamps are a bit glowing because it's a bit nighttime, and we have some lights that are actually illuminating the building. We have some outlines that makes it a bit cartoonish, some reflections, which is just okay. And we're done with our render, and we did not put our interior walls, that's why it looks hollow inside. You could actually go further and place your curtains, even your doors. We forgot our door. It's actually a hole. Okay, so actually the door is on the left side supposedly, and one in front. Yeah, why did we not make doors, dude? Anyways, so because we did this for rendering, actually what you should have done is like select all the trees, okay? Now put them, you can group them if you just like to hide them. Example, you're fixing something, you don't want trees, or you could put them under the layer render trees. So R surrounding, okay? I'll call it surrounding because assets will be like the cars or furniture. This will be like our assets, and the lights will be like our lights. What's the reason we have to put this under a layer called R? It's because we don't want to see them inside layouts, okay? That's why if you're working like with Twinmotion, you don't need to worry about these, because you could just use Twinmotion for rendering, and this will just be for your blueprint. In that case, if I just turn off the folder R render, they're gone. But I'll put this also under surrounding because it's not part of my lot. So SDP, if we look at site development, render is not actually shown because R by default is off. Alright, first floor, R is also off, but if you want to show, let's say, the car, assets, surrounding. But we don't need that in our floor plan. In that case, just press save and let's send it to layout. I have tried something with layout. Instead of sending it to layout, let me experiment one more time what my template does. So I tried to arrange some viewports where if you change the model reference, hopefully, just hopefully, it's all laid out there already. So this was from another project. Now this other project already has like floor plans. So first until fourth floor. However, this is not the same project we just modeled. So using this as a template, what I could do is click on the Sketchup viewport and look for the reference and change it into the file that we just did a while ago. Is it already past 1 hour? Oh. I'm telling you, if I did this for work, then I could have just finished something. Anyways, so what I click is relink and look for that file called cube, which didn't really look like a cube. We changed our plans, and that's okay as long as you have a plan. And by that, it updated. Let's see if it's correct. Okay, it's already 4 a.m. Look at this. Click on that. Ground floor plan. This is scene number 1, so it's correct. This is supposed to be the second floor. Let's see, scene number 2, which is correct. And we already have our labels. Okay, so I could just put my parking here, but it's not for cars, so just call it car parking. And you could actually change this into scene number 0 or turn on the location. So let's say we don't have that scene, but because it's Sketchup 2021, we can turn on the location visibility of the site, and we can actually see our site dev. See? Setbacks and stuff like that. But in this case, I just want to show the floor, so no problem. So instead of typing everything, since these are already here, I could just drag them. Sala, porch. Oh wait, I have no porch. Kitchen. You get the gist. Toilet and wash. Okay. And for the second floor, actually they were here in the next page, so what I could do is get this label, these labels, and put them here. So let's say yes, this is the corridor, and bedroom 2, bedroom 1, the first bedroom I see from the stairs, master toilet and bath, master bedroom, and the common toilet and bath. Alright. And yeah, we didn't put other labels. However, that's fine because, example, it's just a schematic. You could easily get the dimensions, right? And you're done. Just keep continuing, and actually layout tutorials are volumes 1 to 3. So what we did today is just volume 1 and 2. Now, volume 3 continues until the blueprints for engineering, and after that Enscape rendering. So this is third floor 3, which is correct. However, I should be seeing my roof. In that case, I guess it's not centered to the camera. So zoom extents. Maybe it is centered, but the slab there, because I changed it to S roof instead of S slab, right? So there's my roof. I actually call that the roof plan. And then as for the tank, lounge, deck, those are for the ones with roof deck. If you wish to continue all, you also have, let's say for example, plumbing. You could just put that on top of your floor plan and start to put your plumbing, okay? As well as the electrical. So link down below for international gumroad.com Imagine Motions. And for our local in the Philippines, you could use Gcash or video render. Now for our exterior perspective, it looks like this in the SketchUp render, right? That's why when you turned off R or render, you can just see the building, which is also good. However, since we already use Enscape, we could just insert the photo that we rendered, which is this one. Okay, and you're done. Congratulations on making your blueprint for less than 4 hours or more, depends on you. Turn on the title block to see that we're done. Site development. So what you could do with the site development is just get this floor plan and change the scene into Site Development Plan SDP. And from there you can see like road location, stuff like that. But it has to be turned on in our tags. SketchUp model, building our light surrounding, levels 0. Nope, it was location, I guess. Location site for the site development. Okay. Preserve scale to resize. You can change that to 1:100. And we're actually done. Yes, congratulations on the 2 hours of tutorial, and goodbye, Philippines. Don't save. Could actually continue this further into animation. Wait. Can I turn off the sky and do something with the night sky? Let's try. Please show me the stars. No, I want to see the stars before we go. Atmosphere, night sky, brightness, sun, artificial light, ambient, sky, moon, yes. Show me the stars, please. Oh no, I forgot how to put the stars on. Sun, night sky. Right? Oh, cool. Yeah, but there was no star. What are you talking about? Exposure. Can you believe there are no stars? This is so sad. Anyways, another day, another time in the life of this lonely cubic house. We see that his friend was waiting all along, but he came late. And once he came by, we need to turn on autofocus. Alright. And once he came by, he went in the house and found out that there were no walls inside. There was no stair. And the estimates his contractor gave was a very bad quality house with a good exterior. Bye bye. Oh, there's the star. Yes.